The Thunder Mutters by John Clare, 1793 to 1864. The thunder mutters, louder and more loud. With quicker motion hay folks ply the rake, ready to burst slow sails the pitch black cloud, and all the gang a bigger haycock make, to sit beneath the woodland winds awake, the drops so large, wet all through in an hour. A tiny flood runs down the leaning rake, in the sweet hay yet dry the hay folks cower, and some beneath the waggon shun the shower. Okay, this is a poem by John Clare. John Clare was a British poet born in Northamptonshire near Peterborough. His father was a farm labourer, and John Clare started working on the farm as an agricultural labourer from a very young age. He did go to school. He went to the local church school, but he was also working on the fields at that time. So the children would go to school when there wasn't a great deal of work to do on the farm. After he was 12, he went to work in a pub, and then he enlisted in the militia. He became a gardener at a stately house. He lived with the gypsies for a while. He worked as a lime burner. And anyway, his parents were going to be evicted from their cottage in Helpston because they didn't have enough money. They couldn't pay, and he started writing poetry to try to stop this, but they were evicted anyway, although his poetry was well received, and he was well complimented on it. After that, he started to gain a little bit of a reputation as a poet. However, the problem was he couldn't earn enough money to keep himself and to keep his family as well. Anyway, he then started working as a farm labourer and working as a poet at the same time. He suffered from bouts of depression, and eventually he went into a lunatic asylum. He went mad, and he believed he was Lord Byron. He believed he'd formerly been Shakespeare, and all sorts of things. And he spent quite a long time in Northampton General Lunatic Asylum. Anyway, what's this about? Well, this is about a thunderstorm, and this is a beautiful vignette of village life, of the life of farm workers. And there's a thunderstorm, and this is about a thunderstorm. The workers are making hay. They're preparing the hay. They've cut. They're cutting and preparing the hay for drying. And suddenly there's this thunderstorm coming, and it starts. The thunder mutters louder and more loud. So the thunder, boom. He's getting louder and louder. With quick motion, hay folks ply the rake. So the people who are working on the hay, they use their rakes quickly and more quickly, because if the hay is just lying on the ground, it's going to get very wet, and they want to, well, they actually want to make a haycock. So the thunder's coming. They can hear the storm coming. Ready to burst, slow sails the pitch black cloud. So the cloud, this black cloud, is moving very, very, very slowly. It's sailing quietly and slowly towards them, and it's ready to burst, and the water's ready to come out. And all the gang a bigger haycock make to sit beneath. Okay, a haycock is a pile of hay, which is normally put out to dry before it goes onto the haystack, and they make a big haycock so that they can sit underneath it and stay dry. The woodland winds awake, so the wind starts blowing, and when the wind blows, that means the rain is coming, and then the drops come. The drops so large, all wet through in an hour. So it rains for an hour, but they're big drops of rain, and everything is wet after an hour. A tiny flood runs down the leaning rake, and there's a rake leaning against the haycock, and there's this flood of water coming down it. So it's raining really hard. In the sweet hay, yet dry, the folks cower. So the people, they've hidden in the hay of this haycock, and this hay is sweet, and they are still dry because they're inside all of this hay. And some beneath the waggon shun the shower, and some of them are working underneath the hay wagon, the hay wain, to stay out of the shower. So some of the people are hiding in the haycock, and some of them are under the hay wagon, and they're waiting for this shower of rain to finish. And it's a lovely image. You've got the image of these workers, and they hear the thunder, and they start working very quickly to finish everything they can before the rain comes. And then they sit under the haycock and under the wagon to stay dry, and they're these huge drops of rain. It's very intense for an hour, and this water running down this wooden rake. So, The Thunder Mutters by John Clare.